Okay, Jason from Bohemia Bees, and we have a dead out colony that did not make it. It's about the end of December here in eastern shore of Maryland. One thing I want to do is dissect the colony to understand what may have happened. Lots of dead bees in the bottom board. Looked like maybe the entrance might have been blocked with dead bees and they couldn't get out. But one thing I'm going to do is take a look at the cluster. And I spoke about in my last video the cluster of bees and what they do during the wintertime. You can see the cluster is probably about the size of 2 frames or 3 frames here in the middle. And if we dissect that cluster, we'll see what that looks like. Take a look. Let's take a look what that looks like layer by layer. All right, so I've set the frames on their side and I'm going to pull them layer by layer off and see if we can take a look at what a cluster would look like. Naturally, in a strong colony, these outside would be filled with pollen and stores. So the first layer I should expect to see would be stores, and it looks to be very empty, which means that this colony probably starved to death, unfortunately. So there's the first layer of the cluster. You can start to see the outside ball of the cluster. The ball is here in the middle. This is the outside of the cluster, keeping warm. And then we'll peel it back another layer. And you can see there's the ball on the inside. Bees are clustered together. There's lots of pollen stores in here, or at least some pollen stores, but does not look like hardly any nectar stores. And we're going to continue to go in deeper into this ball by flipping the pages of it back. You see the clusters here in the middle. Now, the cluster of bees here is probably about the size of a grapefruit. There's our queen right here in the middle. So what they do is they'll nest up in the middle and she'll lay snug in the middle and they'll shiver and keep her warm. But looks like in this colony, they could not have enough stores to keep going. Very, very light, empty colony. Here's the outside of the ball. And again, here's the furthest frame on the outside of the ball. Unfortunately, again, we lost this colony, but we learn and we know next year that we need to get better stores, more nectar stores on this colony. Not sure why they didn't keep a lot. Maybe there were just too many bees in there and they were going through the resources too fast and we couldn't backfill it fast enough. So, or they could have had a lot of stores going in and then they just consumed them fairly quickly and couldn't backfill it fast enough. So unfortunately we lost this one, but it's a good learning experiment or learning exercise to go through and understand, what happened, and then get a good shot of the cluster. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, what we do here at the Bohemia Apiary on the eastern shore of Maryland, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll continue to share with you interesting information as we learn about the bees every day. And so far, we've only lost probably 1 or 2 colonies for the winter. The rest seem to be pretty strong still. We're continuing to monitor them through the winter, and hopefully we can keep the rest of them strong and surviving. But thanks for watching Bohemia Apiary here in the eastern shore of Maryland, where beekeeping is definitely more than a hobby. It's an obsession.